Hello and welcome back to the channel where I provide daily cricket content on interesting topics. Today's video is the conclusion of my greatest of all time series. Over the past 8 days I have picked my all-time 11s for each major test playing nation. Today I will rank all the teams and give my verdict on which country has the best back catalogue of stars. Before I start, it is just worth noting that I haven't profiled Bangladesh's all-time 11. This was not to be disrespectful in any way, but just simply they haven't been playing test cricket long enough for it to be fair. Right, so let's get started. It is probably best if I very quickly recap on all of the all-time teams. Obviously in each country's video I give stats and justification, so please check him out, but for the benefit of a recap, here are my all-time 11s. India. 1 Sunil Gavaskar, 2 Virender Sehwag, 3 Rahul Dravid, 4 Sachin Tendulkar, 5 Virat Kohli, 6 Kapil Dev, 7 Mahendra Singh Dhoni, 8 Anil Kumble, 9 Bhagwat Chandrasekhar, 10 Jasprit Bumrah, 11 Zaheer Khan. West Indies. 1 Gordon Greenidge, 2 Desmond Haynes, 3 Brian Lara, 4 Viv Richards, 5 Shivnarine Chander Paul, 6 Garfield Sobers, 7 Jeff Dujon, 8 Malcolm Marshall, 9 Michael Holding, 10 Curtly Ambrose, 11 Joel Garner. England. 1 Alistair Cook, 2 Graham Gooch, 3 Joe Root, 4 Jeffrey Boycott, 5 Kevin Peterson, 6 Ian Botham, 7 Matt Pryor, 8 Fred Truman, 9 Derek Underwood, 10 Jimmy Anderson, 11 Bob Willis. South Africa. 1 Graham Smith, 2 Gary Kirsten, 3 Hashim Amla, 4 Jacques Kallis, 5 A.B. de Villiers, 6 Graham Pollock, 7 Sean Pollock, 8 Vernon Philander, 9 Dale Steyn, 10 Morn Morkel, 11 Alan Donald. New Zealand. 1 Mark Richardson, 2 Glenn Turner, 3 Martin Crowe, 4 Kane Williamson, 5 Ross Taylor, 6 Brendan McCullum, 7 Chris Cairns, 8 Richard Hadley, 9 Daniel Vettori, 10 Shane Bond, 11 Trent Boult. Australia. 1 David Warner, 2 Matthew Hayden, 3 Ricky Ponting, 4 Glenn Chappell, 5 Steve Smith, 6 Steve Waugh, 7 Adam Gilchrist, 8 Shane Warne, 9 Dennis Lilly, 10 Pat Cummings, 11 Glenn McGrath. Pakistan. 1 Saeed Anwar, 2 Javid Mayandad, 3 Yunus Khan, 4 Muhammad Yusuf, 5 Babar Azam, 6 Inzamam Ul Haq, 7 Sarfraz Ahmed, 8 Imran Khan, 9 Wazam Akram, 10 Waqar Yunus, 11 Abdul Qadir. Sri Lanka. 1 Sanath Jayasuriya, 2 Marvin Atapa, 2 3 Kumar Sangakkara, 4 Mahela Jayawardena, 5 Aravinda De Silva, 6 Tilakaratne Dilshan, 7 Rangana Herath, 8 Chaminda Vas, 9 Mataya Muralidharan, 10 Lasith Malinga, 11 Saranga Lakmal. So now we know the teams, I have to somehow rank them. One of the beauties of cricket is that statistics are so readily available, so I thought I would start there. What I have done is taken the top 6 batsmen from each side and the 4 front-line bowlers and come up with a batting and bowling score for each side. This made for interesting reading, so I made a little league table for both. Starting with the batting, when I collated the top 6 batsmen's batting averages, it will come as no surprise that Australia came out on top. What is interesting with Australia is you could probably pick their second team and they would still come out on top with the batting. South Africa weren't too far behind, then followed by the West Indies. To be fair, it was quite tight between the top 5 before a big drop to my beloved England. New Zealand were quite hard done by as their batting was deep with people like Daniel Vettori batting at 9, but I made the rules as the top 6 and will stick to them. So moving on to the bowling, and again it will come as no surprise that it was the West Indian bowling attack which had the lowest communal average. Second came Australia, who were followed by South Africa. Interestingly, the Asian team struggled here, and I believe that's probably down to the batting wickets in those countries not offering much for the quicks. England fared a little bit better here, but still was no match for the better bowling sides. So now, armed with the teams and some statistics, I have to rank where I believe these best of teams sit. It really is very difficult, so I am going to give myself a bit of slack and have tiers with gold, silver and bronze groups. Starting with the bronze group, I am going to include Sri Lanka, New Zealand, and as much as it is hard for me to say, England. England ranked in the bronze group as we have been played for longer and more games than every other team in the list. Then when you come to the bowling, even in helpful English conditions we haven't had a true great outside of possibly Jimmy Anderson. Moving on to the silver group, and that for me contained India, Pakistan and South Africa. India I feel historically lack in terms of bowling, I actually think the current Test bowling lineup is the best they have ever had. But in terms of over the course of time, they haven't really had any true greats. Batting is another story, with the likes of Sachin, Dravid and Gavaskar all with storied careers. Pakistan were almost the surprise package for me, as statistically they have a tremendous back catalogue of players. Their bowling was far and away the best out of the Asian sides, and they have had some fantastic batters over the years also. South Africa fell only just outside the gold group for me, and have both statistically and from memory such a great group of players to call upon. I just favoured West Indies and Australia above them based on their bowling. Don't get me wrong, Pollock, Philander, Donald, Steyn and Morkel would be a fantastic bowling attack, but if you stack it up to the other two, it is not as strong in my eyes. So the gold group, West Indies and Australia. One was dominant through the 80s, the other was dominant from the mid-90s for the best part of 20 years. While they both form part of my gold group, I am not going to sit in the fence and have to give my opinion as to which country could muster the best side of all time. As an English cricket fanatic, it pains me to say it, but that country for me is Australia. When researching for their team and upon reading the comments on that video, it is truly staggering quite how much depth they have. You could pick almost endless combinations of their side depending on the playing conditions, and they would still be dominant. Their batting is just stacked with gritty, talented batsmen who could either blast their way to 100 or dig the side out of trouble. Then their bowling attack is so perfectly balanced, with the genius Shane Warne in there to provide variation and control. The West Indies team is also amazing, arguably with more flair in the batting and definitely more pace in the bowling. I probably would prefer to watch the West Indian team play over the Australians as well. Viv Richards and Brian Lara batting together would have been bliss. But as great as they are, the bowling is quite samey, and their opening batsman and wicket-keeper are just not as good as the Aussies. I know I could have included Lance Gibbs in the bowling, but even with all the bowlers being quicks, I thought it was their best lineup. The averages pointed me in that direction also. Ultimately, both teams are staggeringly good, but there had to be one winner, and that team is Australia. Thank you all for watching, everyone. As ever, fire away in the comments with your thoughts. I love reading your teams and opinions.